Good morning, Central. Today is Thursday, October 24th, day 3. I'm Garrett King, and today we're joined by the new principal for the 2024-2025 school year, Mr. Wallace.
Hey, Garrett. Nice to be here.
I have a couple questions for you about what your school year's been like so far, a couple questions about your job, but I first wanted to start off by asking, how's the school year going for you so far?
It's been an awesome start to the school year. I think, save for the little internet fiasco that we had a couple of weeks ago, it's been an incredible start to the school year here. Being able to be at different events, kind of walk around the classroom, being in the cafeteria and the hallways. I think the energy at Central is real when they talk about it.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And I know your position is probably one of the highest in the school, so what does a typical day look like from the principal standpoint?
Oh man, I think the word typical is not a word that I would use to describe my job. Really at the end of the day, I think it's the role of the principal is to be someone who is kind of fluid in terms of being able to deal with issues as they arise on a kind of a day in, day out basis. I would say if I was going to do a typical day, I start with answering some emails, touching base with Mrs. Corletti about what we need to get done from a faculty standpoint. I like to try to be down by the Welcome Center most mornings if I can. Some weeks are better than others when it comes to that kind of stuff, depending on what's going on in the morning. But then really the most days is a series of meetings, sometimes popping into classrooms to kind of visit with different teachers, dealing with things from an athletic standpoint, Mr. Goldkamp, Mr. Capretta, talking about some LaSallian mission aspects with Brother Mike and Mr. Donahue. So really there's no rhyme or reason to each day, but I think that's what makes my role so much fun, is that you kind of show up and you're ready to take on the day, whatever it's about to bring you.
Wow, sounds like there's a lot of different things you're in charge of.
Yeah, it's fun though. It's fun.
So, we know you came from a Texas Jesuit school.
Yeah.
So, what are some of the differences that you've noticed from working there compared to a LaSallian Catholic school in PA?
I think it's less about the differences and more about the similarities. The school that I was at in Dallas is another all-boys school. The traditions are very similar. I would say the biggest difference is, whereas at Central we talk about, St. John Baptist de La Salle and the LaSallian kind of charisma of the school. At Jesuit Dallas, you're talking more about St. Ignatius. And so, the cool thing when you think about St. Ignatius and St. De La Salle is that they're so similar in so many different ways. They're so committed to their faith. They're committed to the education of young people, and really the idea of kind of living your faith out through service on a day in, day out basis. For me, coming to Central is a unique opportunity to kind of put together the personal and the professional side of things. I'm from the East Coast originally, so to be able to be at a school like Central, which is so much similar to the school that I went to in high school, so much similar to the place I was. I don't like to focus on the differences as much like to focus on the similarities in terms of the day in, day out, fun that goes on at school.
Interesting. And really quick, what was one of the highlights, the best part of the school year so far for you?
Oh man, I think it's hard to figure out what one specific highlight would be. It's more for me kind of a culmination of things. But if you're gonna force my hand and make me pick one thing in particular, I would say that the welcome mass, even before the start of school, was something that I had never experienced kind of at any of the schools that I had been at before. So to be able to see, all of our freshmen come in with their families, all of our transfer students, older students who just came in and wanted to be a part of it, to have, hundreds of people, kind of sharing in their faith before the school year started, praying for a successful start, kind of building that community that Central is known for. I think that for me is the major highlight. It's something that I remember kind of leaving school and talking to Mr. Stolzel as I was leaving and saying, that was pretty neat. That was something different that I had never seen before.
And one final thing, what is your, if you had to pick one thing, I know we're talking a lot about favorites,
Yeah.
what's your favorite part about being principal at Central?
I think it's just the community in general. I think when you come to a place like Central, like it's a special place, it's a really big deal, but I don't think you really kind of recognize it until you get here. I was thinking about this recently. Anytime I wear the Viking stuff around, I get stopped, and the first question I get asked is, what year did I graduate? Are these teachers still there? How's the football team doing? When is the mask when's the mask show going to be in the fall? And I have to kind of start with an apology, saying that I did not, in fact, go to Central. But I think the fact that people are so invested in this place on a day in, day out basis, is just really, really cool. I mean, I've been stopped in the grocery store. People have followed me around the produce section asking questions about Central. I've been stopped in restaurants just around town. And the number of times people have said, like, roll Vikes to me around the city of Pittsburgh in the first couple of months of being here really kind of shows how special of a place this is. And so to be able just to be a small part of that community has to be the best part, right? Doesn't matter what my title is. It doesn't matter what I do on a day in, day out basis. It's the community that matters. And I think, seeing that Central is such a pillar of just Pittsburgh in general is definitely my favorite part.
So that about wraps up everything I got on my end. Anything else you'd like to add? Or
No, I just, one of the things, guys, I would say is that being the new guy here, and as a former offensive lineman, I'm always looking for restaurant recommendations. So Garrett and I were talking before we got on about different restaurants. So if you have any good barbecue spots, that's the one thing I'm missing from Texas. So other than that, thank you for having me, Garrett.
Yeah, thank you for coming on, and thank you all for watching the Viking News Network. Until next time, I'm Garrett King. Stay classy, Central.